Hey guys, welcome back to my garden. So I just wanted to come this morning. It is October 8th and I just wanted to share with you guys what the garden is looking like. So as you can tell, my butternut squash is growing so fast, more faster than our cucumber is growing. Then down here in the wheelbarrow, I just have these yellow flowers here. I just love the way they look. I also have a volunteer sunflower growing there. And then I do have my tomato plants, some nasturtiums here. That one over there is not looking too good. My husband Birdie put up this string here to tie our sweet peas because that one there was starting to lean over a lot. And then here you can tell we have another volunteer sunflower. I think that's what it's looking like. And then another nasturtium hiding down there. Our marigolds are growing so beautiful and big, so you guys can see that one there. And then here's another view from the bottom of our butternut squash, and it has so much growth on it, like new growth, and it also has a fruit on it already. So I'll go ahead and go around and give you guys a little closer up. And then I do have another tomato plant growing there. I don't know if those will be ready in time to produce fruit or tomatoes, but we're just gonna go ahead and let it be. And then here's a close-up of our peas. I'm so excited to start harvesting our peas. So all we're gonna do is just get it used to twining upwards like that, and it's just gonna go up the string, of course. But we just have a couple of them because in the beginning of the season when I did plant them, something apparently ate all of my sweet peas and it ate all of my butternut squash, and I actually had to replant my butternut squash. So this time there's only 4 of them, but I had planted 5 at first. But I only had 4 seeds left after something ate all of my butternut squash. And it actually also ate one of our cucumber plants. So you're gonna see that one is like, I reseeded it, so that one is like super small, growing slow, but it's still growing. Okay, so starting off from this side here, you guys can see there's already some fruit on it. There's lots of fruit, as well as down here. They still haven't flowered for me. I haven't seen any flowers open, and I'm actually really new to this style of gardening, like trying to grow most of what we eat and try to stay away from the grocery stores as much as possible. And then you guys can see like a really big one down there. I think this one is actually going to be opening the flower pretty soon, so you can tell it's really big. So I'm probably going to have to remove this leaf that's here. There's another one growing down there, but I think I'm gonna have to remove this leaf so when that one opens, it's visible for the pollinators, so I can make sure that it gets pollinated correctly and it stays on and doesn't like rot or something. But here is another another butternut squash there, and there's a lot more here. And I just came over here right now and I was starting to try and tie it up, or like wind it up so it's being trained to go up the trellis here. It's kind of hard one-handed, but we'll fix that in a bit. But this one also here has a lot of them. I'm actually noticing this one looks yellow. I don't know if it's supposed to be looking like that because all of them look green, so I'm thinking, oh, there's this one down here also looks yellow. But again, these leaves on this plant are looking a little bit more yellow than my other ones. I think I need to add some more fertilizer to this side. Probably that would help it. And then seeing the view for our butternut, it's going to be going up this trellis, and it's supposed to meet with our cucumbers that are actually going a little bit more slower. So you see the cucumbers there, so they are growing slower as in climbing, but they are way more faster as in producing. If you guys can see there is a lot of flowers, so there is a lot of male and female flowers. So for example, this one here is a male flower because it doesn't have fruit on there, but this one here, you can see the cucumber, so that one did have fruit on it with the flowers. That is the female flower. So what bees do, they transfer from a female to a male flower, just pollinating in between, and if it gets well pollinated, then that's when your fruit sticks, which in my case I'm thinking that one has sticks, so it's probably pollinated correctly, fingers crossed. But if it doesn't, then I will have to come in and like with a Q-tip or something and just pollinate them by hand to make sure they stay. I know our soil is really good because we have little mushrooms growing in, and I know little mushrooms is always a sign that your soil is doing so good. But here's another view of our cucumber plants, and from this side too you can see all of the yellow flowers in there. I just can't wait until it actually grows over, meets with the butternut squash over here, and then imagine walking through here and just seeing like the cucumbers or the butternut squash just hanging. I think it's going to be so fun. And now moving on to this side, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys are very familiar with this big bush I have here. So these are my bush beans, and I've been harvesting so much green beans off them. They throw these really cute purple flowers. I just love the way the flowers look. And then they throw all the green beans. You guys can see many in there. So filming this video, like I mentioned, it is October 8th. And then yesterday, October 7th, I actually harvest more off the bush beans. And we actually got like a pound of bush beans. So that was very pleasing and happy to see that the garden is finally starting to produce. Here is the other cucumber plant that I mentioned that is growing a little bit slower, but same here, you can see there are so many mushrooms growing in there. It's just like a little mushroom village down there. Looks super cute. Now moving on to the next bed here, we do have our carrots growing here, and they are growing so fast. I really like the way the carrot leaves look. I've never planted carrot in my life, pretty much none of this. I think the only thing we have planted before is tomatoes, zucchini, and cucumbers. Is pretty much the only thing. Oh, and tomatillos, so like the green tomatoes, we've planted those before, but other than that, we are definitely out of our zone here on planting. But it's so fun learning and seeing everything grow. But look at how cute the leaves are from the carrots. So I'm excited to see this harvest happen, but you can see it goes just all the way down over there. And then of course we have up here on the top some broccoli. So I actually grew broccoli on this whole area here, but unfortunately it didn't work out. Some animals started eating at it, but out of all of our broccolis that did stick, this one here is the biggest one, and I'm just so anxious to start seeing once it starts producing the broccoli somewhere in there. I'm not sure where it produces it, but the leaves are just so beautiful with that really nice matte muted color. I just think they look so cute. Then we have another broccoli here, and then there's a small one here that was struggling also because, like I mentioned, something was eating my plants. I have no idea what it was. And then we do have two more that came out over here. And then across from that, we have this tomato plant and that tomato plant. And I recently picked those up at Tractor Supply for $1. I was like, well, it still looked like it has a lot of green growth. And since I brought it, it has been flowering. So for $1, I thought it was not bad. So I went ahead and picked up two of those and I planted them in that box. And then here we have our voluntary green tomatoes or tomatillo plant. It is so huge already, and it has a lot of like flowers, but then yet again it has so much fruit growing on it also, so that is also exciting. I don't know, I feel like we've always been very successful at growing tomatillos here. I don't know, I feel like it's just our thing or something. But here early morning I am filming. You can see the sun shining through, but that is just like another overview. So it's just like another overview of where our green beans are at, like our bush beans variety, and then the cucumbers, and then you can see the taller ones here on the top. Those are actually the squash, the butternut squash. So like I mentioned, that thing is growing super fast. So over here on this side we do have another bed. It has, of course, my nasturtiums. I just can't wait until I see these nasturtiums just grow out and full of flowers. I know they're edible, but I can't quite remember if it's the leaves or if it's the flowers. So I would have to Google that. I will leave it here on the screen for you guys. And then, of course, I noticed one of the flowers fell off, and that was probably me. After yesterday, I came in to prune off some of the leaves from the green zucchini plant, just to make sure that the pollinators were able to see the flowers. And once again, zucchini plants also, when they flower, they show two different types of flowers. So it's like the male flower. You see this one is just like the flower with the stem, which you will find a lot of those at the beginning of your growing season. And then you'll find other ones like this one that has the fruit. So I'm thinking this one was well pollinated, because as you can tell, it's looking nice and green. This flower was open yesterday. And then here on this side we have like a lot more, and then over here we have tons more of flowers and everything. And I've noticed the difference on the flowers, like when they open you could tell which are which, because at the moment right now we don't have any female flowers open. All of these are pretty much just like male flowers, but I've noticed that the male flowers are actually more muted orange yellow color than what the female flowers are. The female flowers are just like a really bright color, like something to be more spotted out in the crowd, like for the pollinators, of course. And then here I did plant some flower seeds. These are, this one's here, I'm not even going to pronounce it because I know I'm going to pronounce it wrong, but I did give it a try and planted these here. Actually, I did like a little thin row here, but I've noticed that only these and these ones here are coming out. But as long as something's coming out, I'm excited, because I actually want to see how these are. I've never grown these type of flowers before, as well as my nasturtiums. I've never grown those either. And then here we just have like more zucchini plants. They're very bare right now because I just recently pruned them. You guys can see there's a bucket there that I was working here in the garden yesterday, pruning them to make sure that the pollinators are being able to see all of the flowers. So my first zucchini plant that actually popped out and started sprouting was this one. It was just growing so fast and it was so huge. I have gotten so many leaves off of it, but it's so funny because one of my latest ones is the one that has a fruit on already, which is that one there. And so what happened was we planted this one, that one, and the first one over there first, and they weren't growing. So I was like, several weeks had passed by and they weren't growing. So what I decided to do was replant seeds. So I added here, a couple there. So now they're like pretty much all squished together because I added more seeds, being the impatient self of me. So now we're gonna have like tons of zucchini, but it's so weird because the second time I seeded, I planted that one, and then you would figure that that would be one of the last ones to give, and instead it's one of the first ones to give. But then over here, down here, you can see another example. So that most likely was not pollinated right, because the flowers started turning like a brown color, and then the fruit or the zucchini started turning yellow. So I don't even know how that one fell off, but it wasn't going to stick anyway, so good thing it's off on the floor. And then here on the bottom, we have our cabbages growing. So once again, this cabbage is something new that I've never grown, but look at how beautiful this cabbage looks. It's starting to form the little ball in there. Then we have this one that the caterpillars were having a huge feast on. So the outer leaves, I'm fine if caterpillars, whatever, wants to eat them. I'm gonna like just let my little ball grow so we could share, like caterpillars could have it and make sure we have some as well. Then we have a smaller one here, and then of course we have another one here that's like in the wrong spot because I actually have a Mardi Gold growing there. But this is just like another overview of our cabbage and zucchini bed. And then towards that ways is just like our carrots and broccoli. Oh, and then another thing too that I do have over here, I forgot to mention, was we planted bell peppers here. So these are our bell peppers, but something is recently starting to eat them. And I've been coming to check the leaves, but just like for caterpillars or something, but I don't see them. So I don't know if there's like a bird or something that eats that, but luckily we have this one here. I don't know how our bell peppers are going to do for the rest of the season, but we're still going to go ahead and give it a try. Coming over here closer to the house, we do have this bed that's here. And in this bed, we actually have Brussels potatoes growing here. This was like the first one that came out, so this one is like so huge. Then that one came out, and then you could just see closely like there's some more starting to sprout. But yeah, but this was like our first Brussels potato we have thrown in here. And I think what happened was that it wasn't growing as fast because when I first added them, what I did was I just went ahead and threw the potatoes in there that were like already sprouting. And then afterwards I learned that we were supposed to like cut them if they were big. So then that's what I ended up having to do afterwards. I dig them out and cut them. I thought it was going to affect them, but apparently they're still growing. So I am going to mention that I do need to water, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing, but I thought I would go ahead and film this video for you guys. So this is my cilantro plant here, and it's already nice and tall and ready to be harvest again. So what I did the last time was I just harvested it like halfway and left it, and pretty much like 2 weeks afterwards, this is what we're looking at again. So that one is growing nice and big. I just did 2 rows. It was actually just 1 bag of cilantro seeds from the store, so that's the amount you're gonna get from 1 bag if you throw in all those seeds. And so what I did is just made a little canal and sprinkled the seeds in there. I didn't separate them or anything like that. And then here we do have lettuce. So this is the green ice lettuce. And then like this is the first one that came out. So this is like the biggest one. And we've actually harvested a couple leaves off of this one. We've harvested leaves off of this one and that one. And then the ones that are over here, I actually transplanted these from this area too. So once I transplanted those there, I harvested a couple leaves off of that one, a couple off of this one, and then of course the leaves off of these 2 here. And then this is just another little baby one that we haven't even touched. And of course I have some more nasturtium seeds in here, and apparently nothing has came out, but as long as the lettuce is looking nice and beautiful, I'm happy. The other side here we have another voluntary tomatillo plant. Of course it's so big it actually fell over, so it's like leaning on the wood board there, if you guys could see that. Then here I just have my basil plant, and then here I have parsley growing, and I do have a marigold in there. Then on this side we did plant a couple of red beets, and then we're supposed to have green onions coming out of here, but so far no sign. And then here I did do spinach. So all of my plants are like from in a row, so I did do spinach here, but the only ones that came out so far are those. And then there's the Mardi Gras. I actually removed the flowers off to make it motivate it to grow more bushier instead of throwing all of the energy to the flower. And then here we do have the two collard seeds that we planted. I have those there. And then here I did plant kale, but apparently we have nothing there. I planted peppers here. These are the Big Jim peppers. So I have one here and one here. And then I have more nasturtiums in this row, but only 2 of them came out. So I'm missing one towards this area. And then here are some more of the Big Jim peppers. And apparently I have 2 like in the same spot. So I'm going to have to separate those. And then this oregano here, I got it at Vons from like the fresh produce section. And it comes like with the roots and everything. So I just planted it there. Then I had thyme here, but apparently thyme doesn't like so much water. So my thyme died on me. And then here I just have some peppers here. So that's the peppers we have, and they're growing nice. I did pick these up at Tractor Supply also. This one already has a little pepper on it. These are actually the yellow ones, but I did get these for $1 each. But when I got them, they were just so bad and so bald. This one is growing like little flowers. And then over here on this side, we do have more growing. So we have 2 rows of radish. So this is 1 row of radish, and then our second row of radish. And then right here in the middle, we have green onions, something that's supposed to be growing in that planter that's not growing, but I added some here, and I'm seeing now that we have new growth. So this is going to be like a line of green onions. So it's just the Charlotte radish, green onions, Charlotte radish. Over here I'm growing the butternut or the butter crunch lettuce. So I have those there, and these are going to be some as well. I'm going to have to spray them because apparently something is eating it again. And then here we're supposed to be having more onions, and I think we're starting to have growth there, and then some more here, and another one there. And then on this side we have more of the lettuce that's over here. So it's also the Little Jim lettuce on this one. And then we do have them here, which these right here are actually like just weeds. So I'm gonna have to pull these out so it's not tricking me. And I think those are gonna be the lettuce because those look like they're all the same. And then over here we have some more cilantro, and this one I did plant the date like when I planted it was, so it's just on the September 23rd, but it's gonna be a whole row here, another row here, and then the other row is gonna be there. So you can see there is lots of growth growing. And then on this side we do have eggplants. So we have our eggplants growing. I've never tried eggplant, but I'm growing it. So just trying to try new stuff and see how that works. But that's just a little tour of our vegetable and herb garden that we have growing. Now moving on to this view that we have here, we're going to go ahead and share our plants since we're here. So I do have several of these monkey tail cactus. They do not have like thorns that poke. The ones that will poke the most is when you see it like this, like a little yellow, and they do turn yellow to protect themselves from like birds and stuff like that trying to get in. But apparently that doesn't work because I have so many birds that love to play or make their nests in my pots. So you can see this one has tons of babies on them. And then I do have my string of pearls. This is like the one that's known as AKA Skittles. So that one is there. I do need to transplant this one already because it's been in that pot since I bought it. And it's starting to look a little bit rough on some sides, but we're going to be transplanting that pretty soon. And then from this side we do have our hanging baskets. These are also like I mentioned, we do have our hanging baskets. These are also a Lowe's clearance find. I did get these for $5. No, actually I got them for, yeah, for $5 I think, or $10 each. So I do have 3 of them. They're starting to throw off so much flowers and so much blooms. There's another one, and then another one over there. And then on this side, I do have my fountain planter. I do have like another monkey tail here. And then I just have like a mixture of plants, as these here you see. And then I do have like a couple succulents, and then I do have this one here. And then just below it, I do have this mint plant. So this is the peppermint plant. Then over there, I do have a regular mint plant. And then I have this one that the more light it gets, or like sunlight, it turns pink. And then I have another one over here the same. And then I just have this one here that's just all green. I actually need to separate it because there's several in that planter. And then if we move around to the other side, I do have a lavender growing here, and then over there you can see the other mint plant. And then over here in this big planter, so this planter I actually picked it up this summer at Costco, so I did get this one, and there's another one, but I just have some creeping Jenny coming out from this side as well as the other side. This plant here, I can't remember the name of it, but it does give out, I think, pink flowers. And then I just have like my elephant ear plant growing here, which I cut it not knowing there was a new growth coming out, so the new growth did come chopped out. And then I believe this is just an Angelina plant, and then this is also supposed to be an Angelina plant, but it dried out. And then over here on the top, so we were down here, and then on the top we just have more of my monkey tail planters. This one here is actually my longest one, but this one you could tell there used to be a bird nest in there. And this one also is just full of babies. And then moving here, this one is my recent clearance find plant from Tractor Supply. I did get this one for $10. It was in really rough shape. Everything was just like so yellow. So what I did was I trimmed it. There's a lot of new growth inside there. So what I did was I trimmed it and then just let it dry out, because it just had like so much water, because you know those stores just overwater their plants. And of course it's still giving out like a bunch of new baby flowers. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and start giving it some plant food, and then just hoping that it turns much more on the green side. It's already looking way more green than when I first purchased it, but it's just something that I've been into lately, is finding those plants that are almost being sent out to the trash because they're just overwatered and just needs like some fertilizer and some TLC, and I bring them home, and it's like if it doesn't work out, if they die, well, at least I have a new planter to add something like a planting pot. And then this is like a hanging one. It is a plastic one, but it's like a nice one. It's just not like the ones that are just like a nursery pot. So either way, that is a big plus. But as you can tell from this side, it's already looking a lot more better, and you can see a lot of new green growth are growing out. The other side looks so good as well, but once I go to the other side, it kind of gets like super dark, probably because of the sun. So I'm just gonna try and turn it so you guys can see it like that. And just one thing about this one, it is a little messy because it does drop its leaves and its flowers on its own, so there's like no need to deadhead, but literally it's just the same thing like with our geraniums. They do the same thing. So whenever I walk out here, I just tell my husband, it looks like we had a wedding in the backyard and we had a flower grow just walking by, dropping off all the flowers. So here's a view from the kitchen area side of our back patio. I just love how it's full of flowers and life and just looking so nice. My table is dusty. I do need to get that cleaned. And then over there, of course, I do have another monkey tail. I'll take you guys over there in a bit. And then here on the bottom is just like our fountain with the extra plants. Here, this side, we have another geranium. And then moving towards this side, I do have this planter here. This one is also a clearance find. This one is from Costco. So as you can tell, the original plant did not make it, so it died. I paid $5 for this one. So what I did is I just added cuttings from different succulent plants in here. And then hanging over here, I do have my string of dolphins. If you guys can see the figure on that one, why it gets its name, it's just so cute. So this one is actually starting to fill out a lot, but mostly from the outer side that gets like more sun. So here's a close-up of my other monkey tail. This one is a little bit more of a different style, but still has lots of them in there just growing. And then over here on this side, we do have a seating area. And then we have more of this coleus, I believe it's called. And then on the outside, we do have some creeping Jenny coming out of that one. But over here on this side, we have another sitting area where I do have this plant here. It's more of a succulent, but it's called cat's ears. And it's just like a really soft, furry leaf. And then it just has right here where it's giving out like just the double purple flowers. Really cute flowers. And then moving on to this little table I have here, I just have like an all green color spider plant with some little babies growing there. And then on this side, I just have another coleus. So what I've been doing lately is not letting it flower. So I'll pinch off the flowers just to make it grow more bushier, because I just want a fuller plant other than having a flowering plant at this moment. And then I did share with you guys our potatoes that were here. And then this is a new item or new project we did. So we saw they were giving away some pallets, and of course our AC unit is in there. And like I told my husband, it's just like a really bad eyesore, so I figured we could do a little enclosure. And then on the bottom I just have some plants. So this one did die out on me, but I think I shared the one that was in there in my last garden tour. And then this one is like trying to give up already too, and then this one as well. I'm just thinking it's probably just like the end of their season already, but they were really cute flowers. This one was a purple one. This one I believe was the lighter pink one. Yeah. And so now my thought is I'm probably just gonna hang some, like screw in some hanging planter racks here, brackets, probably here or on this side, and then just have a plant hanging there. My husband is asking me if I'm going to paint it or stain it, but I'm actually liking it the way the color is. I would just probably think about how to remove this from it, but other than that, I think it just looks a lot more better than seeing that horrible eyesore of AC unit. But here is another view from over here. It's kind of hard to see because of the morning sun. And coming to this side, which is like the long wall that takes you all the way to the garden, I do have these lanterns here that are just from Dollar Tree. So the lantern was $5, and then the stick, well, you would buy that one separate. I've had them already since, I'm going to say, the beginning of summer or spring, around there. And then this one is a recent Lowe's find. I got this one for $15. So So it does have this plant in here that has really beautiful purple flowers. Then the yellow flowers, same one as I have in that wheelbarrow over there at the garden. And then if you look closely, there is some pink ones here. So I'm thinking the pink ones here are supposed to be like the Angelinas. I think that's what they're called. So we do have that one growing here, but these purple flowers are just so beautiful. And it did come like in this hanging planter, and the planter is like really nice one also. And like I mentioned, this was a clearance find, but my plan is to, once it gets cooler down, take it out and then just plant this one in the floor, and probably these, keep them in hanging planters, because I like these also like for the fall or the summer because of the yellowy orange color that it gives. And then of course try to figure out how much of these pink ones do we have, because there's more over here, and then just try and divide the plants and see how that works out. And then over there I am aiming for a vine wall on this fence. So I do have that red vine plant. I can't remember the name of it, but I will put it on the screen for you guys. And you can see it's giving out a lot of new growth and flowers, and it was doing a very rough at first, but I'm starting to notice all of the green and the new growth. So I think it's finally establishing, planted here. And I'm just excited for like the spring and the summer when it starts to bloom and it starts to show all of the red flowers. It's already been giving out a lot of red flowers. You can tell here there's already some that are just already dried and done. So the flowers do last a really long time, and they're really cute. I actually have 2 of these. And then moving down, we just have our green lime tree. And then over here on this side of the wall, which I want to connect from here to over there where we were at, is just a star jasmine. So I'm going to help that one trellis up as well. And then we have some more lanterns here, and then ignore the mess, but that's just like fruits from my neighbor's tree. Like I never see them eat it, and it's always just falling here. And well, we do need to clean up the backyard, so just ignore all of that was thrown over there. But I just wanted to share with you guys, like, this planter here is the same as the one I showed you that had like the dead stems, and I just propagated like some succulents in there over there towards our kitchen bar, like the outdoor kitchen bar. So this one also is from Costco, same as the other one like I mentioned, and this one was in rough shape as well. So the whole thing was actually looking like that. There was so much of those dead spots like that. So I also brought it home. They were $5 each. So I was like, if it's $5, if it dies, well, then at least I have a $5 planter, right? Because it's still hanging and it's still like a nice planter as well. You can still tell on the bottom, see, that's what it looked like. So that's like all of the dead growth that it had like in the planter. So all of this that you're seeing on top is just nothing but green and new growth. And then it started blooming. At first it was only giving like 1 flower and then 2 flowers, and all of a sudden like 3 days go by and I'm just seeing all of this whole mixture of flowers. So there's like red ones, there's orange ones, there's yellow ones, and it's just doing so good. It looks so cute. Kind of wish the other one would have made it, and I could have switched out my hanging zinnia plants from my front door for this one, because this is like more of a fall color. So this would have worked out so good over there in the front. But it is what it is. But I'm just so happy to have it here. I used to have them hanging up there on the top over here, right there, before I added this one. So for now I just have them here on the bottom. The other one is over there, the purple and yellow one that I showed you guys. But once I like start cleaning back here and know where I'm actually gonna put it, then I am gonna be hanging this one up. I really like it. It's so cute. I just watered it right now. Also, like I mentioned, it's supposed to be watering my plants, but as you can tell, there's more yellow flowers. And then of course I have an Alcatraz flower, that's how we know them, over there. And then I just have like this aloe plant also right here in the bottom. And then just moving more down, we have the white rose bush there. We have a nectarine and a peach. The nectarine is, I don't know what's happening. It's doing not too good. But I've noticed that there's a lot of new, or actually this is a peach one. There's a lot of new growth growing on there. So we probably just have to cut it down and let the new growth grow. And then over here we have our nectarine. And then I have another one of those red vine plants growing here. You guys can tell it also was doing not so good, but now that it's starting to get established, like the roots are getting established, it's growing, giving out like new growth. And then you can see the flower there. The flower is just old, but it's just like a really dark burgundy red once it's like a new flower. And then over here we do have this tree, which is, I believe it's our plum tree, and it's just like starting to give out new growth. And then within that corner we do have an apricot tree, and then once you reach this tree, that's when you head to our garden. And then our guava trees are just growing. They're still giving out more flowers. And once again, standing from over here where zucchinis are at, there was a bee there doing its job pollinating. But this is just like an overview of our backyard over here. It's not like the prettiest, but we're working into making it just so peaceful and not only looking beautiful, but also providing. And I'm just having fun learning and just doing it. As I'm walking back to the covered patio, I just realized I skipped some plants that I didn't show you guys. So in these containers here, I picked them up at Lowe's on sale for $13 each. So I got 3 of them. There's 2 here and 1 over there that still hasn't been planted. But I just have 2 different style fiddle leaves in trees in here. So I have this one and that one. And then on the bottom of them, I did plant some begonias. They had flowers, but I went in and trimmed off the flowers because I want to promote it to grow a more bushier style. And then in the empty gaps, I do want to add the sweet potato vines. I'm not sure if I want to do the green ones or the purple ones, but I think I want to do the mixture of green and purple because obviously the fiddle leaf is green and then the begonias are pretty much like green and purple, and they are going to give out white flowers because they had white flowers. So I'm probably going to do a mixture of green and the purple sweet potato vines in both containers, so that's why these are looking pretty bare. And then on this side where I was talking to you guys about my vinca plant, on the bottom I did have this rubber tree plant growing here, and it just grows so fast out here and gives out so much growth. I did have to add this piece of stake or stock, the wood here, because it was starting to fall over. So I am going to have to go ahead and tie this again so it's not leaning and it just grows up. But it's been growing so nice and so big. So I just want to say thank you so much. If you guys have been enjoying these videos, leave me a comment down below. Here is once again an overview of our backyard. I know I probably should have swept it up and cleaned up the rose petals or flower petals. But it's just real life over here, and this is what our garden looks like. Okay, so like I was saying, just ignore my patch here. I have a little zip, but it's just life. But like I was saying, so if you guys want to get into more with growing plants, learning about plants, it's just to learn as you go. I'm not gonna lie, I have had so many plants die on me, but it's all just a learning experience. That's why also too, if you want to give it a try for a clearance plant that's not looking as bad like this one is, for $5, it's okay. If it dies, well, you have a planter where you can at least grow a plant or plant something else or add some seeds or something. I actually have in our walkway over there some snapdragons, I think that's what they're called, which I'm actually going to be cutting right now. So first I'm going to water my plants, then I have to go trim those because they have some that are just like so long already and just need to be trimmed, and then they have like the new growth that are growing out. so my plant doesn't focus its energy on the flowers that are already dying or the stems that are already dying. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it and promote it to grow more bushier and then throw out more new stems. But yeah, so like I was mentioning, if you guys want to get into the whole gardening, flowers or vegetable garden, whatever type of growing in your backyard, I definitely would hope this video inspires you guys and you guys actually go for it, because it's all a learning project. It's a learning steps. It's just like you don't go into gardening as a pro. You actually have to learn as you go. So I hope this video, guys, motivates you guys. Once again, if you guys are not subscribed to my channel, I have been sharing all the time. My channel has been from my home, sharing my home, my decorating, all of that, in hopes to inspire each and every one of you guys. But right now, I've been so much into this new hobby of mine of gardening and adding more flowers. I've always liked plants and flowers, but I've never done like a big thing in my garden. So this year we decided to do the vegetable garden that's all the way back there, of course, and then I started adding more plants to my collections. At one point I did do like nothing but succulents, but I felt like that was not making me super happy. Like, I like succulents, but I feel these type of things, that is what brings joy to my heart. So I started adding more flowers and stuff like that. And a lot of you guys know I used to work at Burlington, but since I stopped working at Burlington, I have more time on my hands. So lately I've just been doing this and I'm enjoying this a lot more. But once again, I hope this video inspires you guys. When you guys clicked on my video, I hope you guys saw what you guys were expecting, and I hope it just motivates you guys to start your garden or start building your garden, either a vegetable garden or a flower garden. Like I mentioned, it's just a learning process. You are going to kill some plants, of course, that's going to happen, but remember, it's a learning process. We can always buy more. If you buy the ones that come like in hanging planters where it's a reusable pot, or at least you have the pot to continue growing on. But if you have the nursery pot ones, then I go for the cheaper ones. The ones are like $1 or $2 or up to $3. Still seems fine to me. But look at the plants, because most of the time the plants, with the problem is that they're just overwatered. Like, their soggy, dirt is soggy, or sometimes it's just extremely dry and just needs some TLC. So like I mentioned, if it's super soggy, when you purchase it, bring it home, let it dry out. Don't water it, let it dry out for a couple of days. If it's hot, it'll dry out faster. If it's not hot, it's going to take a little bit of time, but just let it dry out before you guys decide on wanting to water it again. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick seat. And then, so another thing, if the plants are dried, get home and water it through the bottom. So you can put it like in a bucket, or you can also just grab it and put it like in a really tall saucer, add water there, and just let your plant slowly drink up the water. Let the roots start to swell up with the water again, because if the plant is dried, the dirt is so dry, the roots have sucked out the water out of the dirt, and all it sometimes needs is just that. And then I do fertilize my plants. I'm trying to stick with a once a week, so every Monday fertilize all of my flowers in the backyard, the ones I shared with you guys. Oops, sorry. So I tried to fertilize all of my flowers in the backyard, all the ones I shared with you guys, as well as my front yard ones. Also, the vegetable garden is just, we added that slow release one that's for the garden, and then I don't do anything else for them. But my hanging planters and just like my regular flowers and plants and stuff like that, I do the once a week fertilizer. I do use the Miracle Gold one. It's just like a, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a little blue powder. You just add the tablespoon to, like a tablespoon and a half. It has a little measuring cup to a gallon of water, which is my watering can. And then that's just how I water my plants. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know I probably just rambled away and went a little bit off. And I know I'm looking away, but it's just like, I look at my garden and I'm just this view is just, I am so happy with how everything is turning out. But once again, I hope this video motivates you guys. Welcome to my new channel name, Irma Guzman, of course, like always, but now it's home and garden, because now I'm sharing with you guys my home as well as my garden. And I hope to see y'all in the next one. Bye guys.